Hi there. If history hasn't taught us anything, is that no group is short a few pubic hairs of a full bush more than nobility. Like how Kim Jong-il said he invented the hamburger, Caligula literally being in love with his own horse, Gilles de Rais having some of the most weird fascinations out of all of them. Rais, being born into a noble family in 1405, was already a very ill-tempered and angry child, and by the age of 10 he definitely gained more piss in his cornflakes after his parents' passing. Of course, because of this, Rais and his brother would soon be under the tutelage of their maternal grandfather, Gilles the Crown. Crowns, apparently being the world's best wingman, would pawn his grandchildren off to any noble woman in sight. I am definitely using the word woman loosely. His attempts were usually unsuccessful, until on 1420 he fooled Catherine de Toros of Bretagne to marry him. Now, because of his noble status, he would soon find himself in the crossfires of the 100-Year War. And for those of you who don't know what the 100-Year War is, it's the one with Joan of Arc. That's the only important thing about the 100-Year War. Rais was actually a very adept knight, gaining the respect of King Charles VII, who assigned Rais to be Joan of Arc's official protector. Joan and Rais were like the Legion of Doom, throwing pile drivers, throwing them to the dirt, beating up the English until they won the war. Of course, because this is the medieval era, Rais would be promoted to Marshal of France, while Joan of Arc would burn at a stake for heresy. God, you really gotta love the English, don't you? Now, in the absolute shock of having to murder so many adults, he would ask his servants to abduct children so he could do the same to them. But when he left the military, he finally got to pursue his dreams like every other failed theater kid, writing and producing the world's most overly convoluted play. No, seriously, with 150 speaking roles and 500 extras about Joan of Arc and the Siege of Orleans, he would get over 600 new outfits tailored every single night, as well as feed whoever would come to actually watch his play. He would join his fellow theater kids in acquiring the same financial status. Fun fact, on Crone's deathbed, as a public gesture of his disdain for Rais' reckless spending, he would give his sword and breastplate to his younger brother. Still being down on money, he went to the only known reliable source to make money at the time, sacrificing innocent children to a demon god of money. I wish I could be pulling your leg, but I'm actually not. He literally thought this was the best way to make money. This whole ordeal would finally reach a head when Rais and his men would abduct a cleric over a dispute, which would cause a domino effect where church officials launch an investigation and find his murder of 150 boys for the past 8 years. This investigation would have his servants testify against him over the murders, as well as priests testifying against him over his interest in the occult. They planned to torture him into a confession, but that was really not needed because he confessed to all of his crimes immediately, and soon after he would have a business meeting with the gallows. It should also be mentioned that his trial is heavily debated, many believing that the threat of torture was so daunting Rais would confess regardless of guilt. It also doesn't help that there was a lack of evidence and definite political gain by prosecutors, some even going so far that in 1992 a French Freemason organized a retrial of Rais and the court came back with a verdict of not guilty. Honestly, every article I read said this is heavily speculative at best, and my runtime is way too short for me to care. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a beautiful day.